Hello, this is Diana Jarvis from the Young Reporter Scheme, and today I'm interviewing Amy Dawes, who was a young reporter with us in 2011. Hi, Amy. Thanks for agreeing to talk to me this afternoon about your experience doing Young Reporter and what you've been doing since. You did the scheme in 2011, which was the first year we did an awards ceremony. So tell me a little bit about what you've been doing since then.
So following the scheme, I actually went to university. So I went to the University of Exeter and I studied a medical sciences program. So I kind of went down a very kind of sciencey route into my career. I'm actually currently working towards a PhD now, which is in medical genetics. So I guess writing has been something, it's been a hobby for me, but I kind of decided in my later school years that I wanted to go and study science at university. But interestingly, I'm now in a position where I work in a research lab in a kind of research community, but I do also day to day do lots of writing in a scientific sense. So I write up my experiments and we prepare things for publication for scientific journals.
Do you think the scheme helped you?
Absolutely, I think it did. I think when I did the scheme, I at the time was really interested in English and I really enjoyed English lessons in school. And then I think I sort of more drifted towards the sciences later on, doing my A levels. But I would say that it gave me a good grounding into how to write a report and how to ask the right questions.
Yes, because
And
you were quite young when you did it, weren't you? I think you were in year 10
yeah,
when you did the scheme.
I think so. Yeah, I think I was 14 or 15. So I suppose, yeah, I was doing my GCSEs when I did it. And I kind of, at that stage, wasn't really thinking about what I wanted to do as a career. I think I was just exploring things that interested me. And definitely reporting and journalism was something that I was really interested in at the time. But I think it's given me a good grounding in learning how to kind of formulate a report, which has helped me later on in my studies and then now what I'm doing in my PhD.
So your PhD, when do you finish that?
I've got about 18 months left, so I'm probably about halfway through.
And do you have any plans work-wise when you finish doing that?
Yeah, so I'm kind of exploring career paths of what I want to do at the moment. It's been, for me, I guess, where I've ended up has been very much just choosing things which I enjoy. So I've never really had a particular career prospect that I've always been necessarily aiming towards. But I kind of went down the more research route when I got involved in some research when I went to university at an undergraduate level, and I just really enjoyed it. So I just decided to do a PhD and carry it on. But I am now kind of currently looking in staying in academia and continuing to do the research. But I suppose kind of looking forwards, it seems like you spend less and less of your time actually doing the research and more kind of thinking about what research is important and reading literature and writing reports. So I think I'm realizing that by doing and staying on this path, I'll probably become more involved in the kind of reading and writing aspects that I enjoyed previously back in school.
It must be fascinating what you're doing, though.
Yeah, it is. It is really interesting, and I'm kind of continuing to learn more and more each day as I go through the process. So yeah, it is. It's a really interesting field to find yourself in, I think. But I think I've kind of learned from the way in which I've gone through education that actually I think I had this perception in school of you kind of choose a career path and that's what you do for the rest of your life. Um, but I've now realised that it's much more fluid than that. So you can kind of pick aspects of the things that you do enjoy and find something which actually brings them all together.
I think enjoyment is probably one of the key elements in any job, really. And
Mm.
it's good that you kind of think that way. So many people fall into jobs that maybe they don't particularly like. So it's good that you feel passionate about it. But do you find,
Mm.
from having done the Young Reporter, did you find that the skills that you took from that have benefited you?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this in the sense of kind of just being involved in a project alongside of your studies at school or whatever stage you're at, I think is extremely beneficial because you have, as well as just being, something else to put on your CV, it's actually something that you can get involved in, explore another area that you hadn't really known much about before. That was kind of what it was for me. I was very new to journaling. I just really enjoyed English, and my English teacher said, "Oh, have you thought about joining this? Because we're just starting this program up." And so she asked me to join the journal club. So it was just something I did after school on a weekly basis. And it was really nice to just get involved in learning a new hobby. And then I suddenly found myself in this kind of community, meeting people that I hadn't met before, but also shared the same interests as me. So I think it gives you a kind of all sorts of skills aside from learning how to write. I think it helps with managing your time. You know, you can show when you're applying to university or whatever you're thinking about doing after you leave school that you can take on other commitments and manage your time well, and still perform well in your academic studies, but also being able to work on a project and manage that project yourself, and also communicating with other people as well. So, and those are sort of skills that I guess I've continue to develop through my education, but definitely it was kind of a starting point.
Yes, it's something good to do, and it's also gives you the opportunity to meet people that maybe you wouldn't meet in normal life. How did you
Mm.
find sort of articles? I mean, did you find it difficult to find articles, or were you sort of getting lots of different articles to write?
Yeah, I remember when I first joined being a bit sort of startled, like, oh, what have I kind of got myself into? I don't really know where to start.
It's scary.
Um, Yeah, I think it can be a bit daunting. And I think having those, so we used to meet as a group, all the people involved in the scheme in my school, we met to kind of discuss our ideas to try and help each other. So I think that was definitely helpful because you can kind of get some ideas off other people. But I tried sort of researching, just reading magazines and or maybe things online like a blog post or things to kind of get some inspiration. But in the end I kind of went back to, okay, well, what do I feel like I could write about? What sort of things do I find interesting, and maybe other people find interesting as well? So yeah.
I mean, that's the way to do it, really. It's because what you find interesting, hopefully other people will find interesting as well. Going back though, would you recommend this to other students?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's actually helped me more than I kind of realized initially. So I kind of just got involved with a group of peers, and I think it was a nice thing to do to make new friends, a nice activity to enjoy at the time. But it's also really helped me shape some of my, it sort of shaped, I guess it made me interested in thinking about writing as a career. But even if you don't feel like you're the sort of person who's sitting there thinking, oh, I'm definitely interested in journalism, or you might not even know what's involved in journalism, I think it's a good way to actually get a bit of insight into that as well.
Well, Amy, it's been really lovely talking to you, and I appreciate you giving up your time. And I wish you luck with whatever you're planning to do when you leave university.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, no, thank you for having me.
This has been Diana Jarvis interviewing Amy Dawes.